the glories of his righteousness, and wonders of his love, and wonders of his love, and wonders of his love.
One of my favorite places to visit whenever I'm in Chicago, you probably won't find in any guidebook. I like to go way out to the far end on 12th Street, Roosevelt Road, out past Mannheim Road, way out in the suburbs, and you come to Queen of Heaven Cemetery. And in the cemetery, there is a mausoleum that's 3 stories high. And again, it's one of my favorite places to visit. Once you get past the idea you're in 3 stories of dead people buried in the walls, you know. But it's filled with these beautiful shrines. And one of my favorites there is the Shrine of the Holy Family. And it's this, big open area. And on one side, there's Mary. And she's pouring probably olive oil out of this big, big jar into these smaller jars. And in front of her is Jesus. And he's about 5, maybe 6 years old. And he's trying to balance one of those jars of oil on his head. And standing in front of him is a little dog. And the little dog is up on his haunches, like that. And Jesus is trying to keep the jar of oil on his head and reach out and play with the dog at the same time. And right next to Jesus, there's some stairs that goes up to the carpenter shop. And standing in the door of the carpenter shop is St. Joseph. And he's got his hands on his hips, and his head is just back roaring with laughter at this wonderful scene. It reminds us that the Holy Family is not plastic. They didn't run around with halos on their heads, and there wasn't, church music playing behind them. They were a real family. They knew love and joy and warmth as well as sorrow. And we come together today to remember the Holy Family and also to remind ourselves that the Holy Family doesn't just consist of Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. That Jesus came so that all of us could be a part of the Holy Family. Remember what 1 John tells us today. See what love the Father has given us, that we should be called the children of God. For that indeed is what we are. All of us are part of the Holy Family. And today is a reminder to us of that. That as St. Paul tells us, in his letter to the Romans in chapter 8, that we received a spirit of adoption in our baptism. Not a weak or cowardly spirit, but a spirit so powerful that it enables us to call God Abba. That is Papa. So when we celebrate the Holy Family, we're celebrating ourselves. We're celebrating our feast day today. But to be a part of the Holy Family, to really be family, we need also to hear what else 1 John tells us today. It reminds us that if we're going to have confidence in our God, if we're really going to live as children of God, then we need to follow the commandment of God. And his commandment is this, that first of all, we should believe on the name of his Son, Jesus Christ, and then love one another just as he commanded us. In other words, what he is saying is, to believe in Jesus means to love others. In every parish I've been in, there are those dark people, I don't know how else to put it, who think their fellow Christians are fungus or have cooties or something. And they just see their relationship as a vertical relationship with God. Just me and thee, O Lord. But what St. John is telling us is, if it's just you and God, it's just you. Go on into the next chapter. 1 John chapter 4, verse 20. If you say you love the Lord, whom you cannot see, and you do not love the brother or sister that you can see, you are a liar. To put it bluntly, if we're calling ourselves a follower of Jesus Christ and we say we believe in Jesus Christ, but we don't love those around us, we're fooling ourselves. Because we're meant to be family. And family should be a place where people feel warmth and protected. You know, my idea of family, I grew up in a big family. I have 4 sisters and 2 brothers. And when I was growing up, there were always 3 or 4 cousins living with us going to high school because their families lived out in the country. So they'd come in and spend the week in our home. And I always felt kind of sorry for people that grew up in small families because we had so much fun together. But you know, the thing is, we all belong to this huge worldwide family, the family of our Heavenly Father. But to me, the real meaning of family, every time I think of this day, and I may have shared this story with you before,
the glories of his righteousness and wonders of his love, and wonders of his love, and wonders of